Hey everybody, Deanna here at Soul Awakening, here sharing some channeled messages for you today. If you don't know me, I am a transformational healing artist and a clairvoyant, seer, and transdimensional medium. So I'm receiving frequency and messages from higher consciousness to share with all of you. And I wanted to come in and share what's streaming in for this month because it's a very potent month. I'm sure you've been feeling it. We're experiencing some expiration of some archaic patterns, some ancient patterns and pathways that have been moving. The energy I see is loops and echoes and patterns that happen within each individual, but also on the greater scheme of the patterns that happen on the planet. A lot of them are being seen through, and almost like what I'm seeing in my vision is like a microscope or a magnifying glass. So the things that we need to purge are being magnified within our being, right? And that's so that we can become really clear on them so that we are able to allow them to dissolve back to source. So that's the point of it all. When something pops up really strongly in your reality, let's say you have a certain scenario or a pattern that tends to be recurring or something that you've dealt with for multiple times in your life, like a looping pattern, what's happening is that because of the amount of energy that's streaming in, because of where we are on the planet right now, things are being magnified. And it's actually a gift when we become aware of it, because it's allowing for this consciousness to unravel. So like what happens when something is looping is because we have not yet become aware of it in order for it to return to source. So when it becomes magnified in our awareness, when it becomes something that we cannot help but focus on, it becomes so strong, it's visceral in our bodies, it's very clear in our outer reality, then we have to look at it, we have to see it, we have to be willing to process it. And what it means to process is just to become aware of something, to return it to love, to return it to wholeness. So just being aware of that. And I keep hearing the word archaic. So these are patterns. These are things that are ancient. Not only from this lifetime. It's even, what I'm even hearing now is these are some kinds of primordial wounds that we are seeing through. So this is not just my mom and I got into a fight, or like, you know, someone stole my car, or like whatever, something from this life. These are primordial level energies that we're coming into contact with. And a lot of it has to do with the separation consciousness, feeling like we are not unified with the whole. So each one of us has our experience, and within each of us, we are an emanation of the Creator. So we are the Creator being embodied in each of our experiences. So therefore, on deep levels, we are experiencing primordial energies. What I mean by primordial when I say it is almost like, what I'm hearing is almost like causal forces, or it's like the origins of consciousness, of creation. So all of these things are being played out within our own bodies, within our cells, within our energetic field, in our hologram, and that's what's created in our outer reality. On a mass scale as well, if we look at what's happening in the collective, these are primordial energies. These are a lot of times people feeling separate from consciousness, separate from love, and the pain of that is what is reflected everywhere right now. Anger, heartache, sadness, grief, rage, some really deep, even violation of will stuff happening. So we're looking at things through the lens of, this is something that's happening in my individual reality, but really it's a reflection of everything that's happening through everyone. So just to remind ourselves of that, this is a time where contracts that no longer serve are ending. And us in the higher realms, like what I see is like versions of us that are, let's say, more evolved or have a higher consciousness, are closing out contracts and recognizing when something has expired and choosing to reorient to a different experience of life at this time. We are moving into, and we have already been in, ordained consciousness, or really auspicious time on earth where we have chosen to come here to have this certain experience. We have chosen to come here on earth at this time when earth is having this certain experience. And so becoming very aware of what's closing out in your life right now and where you're guided to move forward, what you're guided to walk into, is very, very pivotal, instrumental, and it will help you, it will assist you as you move through these changes or this transformation. As some people know, if you don't know already, we are coming to the end of the year of the snake. We're moving into the year of the horse. We have eclipses coming up, very potent and powerful. Just a really auspicious time on the planet. We have many guardians with us, assisting you on your path. Becoming aware of the consciousness of money is really important at this time. Another thing that's very important to focus on is noticing where your passions lie and noticing what keeps you from pursuing them. So noticing, where am I still judging myself? And noticing that those judgments are typically not this loving voice that's in alignment with our highest and best. Something interesting that I'm receiving is we may want to write a well wishes list for ourselves, a best wishes list for ourselves. What I keep getting and what I continue to receive is just how higher versions of ourselves, advanced in consciousness versions of ourselves, are ready to drop in now to this reality. They're like, this point in time is so auspicious that it's like, at this point in time, these higher versions of me are dropping into this plane of reality. So what that looks like practically would be even an internal practice of sitting with oneself and just opening up the internal space inside of you and inviting this new version of you into your body, inviting the new versions of you online, and then noticing where the flow takes you. So this is a really beautiful time as well. I'm seeing divine innocence divine innocence, cultivating the innocent child within, an innocent viewpoint of the world. When we think about innocence, it's really an interesting concept because when you're innocent, you don't have preconceived notions and you're not judging. When we look at something from an innocent point of view, it's a perspective of love. There's an automatic underlying belief system of just love. It's like curiosity. You're just innocent. So how can we cultivate innocence when we're looking at all of the things that happen in the world, even on the world stage? And you might think, how could I possibly do that when we get really attached to what's happening? People feel emotionally invested. People feel upset. We want people to be treated well. You know, it's coming from a beautiful place of caring most times when people are getting upset about the things that are occurring in life. But what happens when we internally shift our perspective to innocence and seeing how, what if all of this is just wounded? What if all of this is just a wounded child playing out on a larger stage? Can I hold compassion? Can I hold the eyes of innocence while watching this and see how that shifts the energy from being sucked in and being invested and feeling like I need to be right or need to prove a point to just watching an innocent creation in love and seeing how that can shift the energy, right? Because really, when things are happening on the world stage and we want to shift something, we're wanting to see a change, right? The most powerful thing we can do is shift our energy. So if I'm shifting my energy to a state of innocence and holding a state of compassionate love, no matter what's happening, I am being the most powerful being I can possibly be by allowing anything to occur and being a safe space to hold it. Because when we do that, we are entraining the other frequencies to our frequency. We are entraining the frequencies of rage, outrage, fear, scarcity, lack, sadness, grief. We're entraining that to the frequency of peace, to love, to joy, to omnipotence. So we, by our energy shift, are creating this frequency that the other emotions can start to harmonize with. Because it's a unified, coherent field. Peace and innocence and love is a unified, coherent field. When people feel rage and anger and sadness and grief, there's nothing wrong with those emotions. They're fine, but a lot of times they're very, sometimes the energy can get dispersed. It can get like waves are spilling over, right? So then we become the still pond and we watch all of these emotions happen. We can watch them while also maintaining this frequency of coherence. And what I'm receiving is that is one of the most powerful ways we can be in our inner knowing, we can be in our inner compassion, we can be in our still point by maintaining this frequency of omnipotent clarity, omnipresent compassionate love and innocence. And that's a really powerful way to shift the frequency of our immediate environment, but also because we are connected to all that is in existence through energy, frequency, and vibration, we are truly shifting the fabric of reality when we do this. So just tuning into my stream to see if there's any final messages for the day. Definitely moving into the space of no time. So what I see is just a clock and the hands keep spinning around and round. Time is becoming circular. Well, it already has been, but it's becoming more apparent that time is not linear. It's not moving in a linear way. It is moving in a circular way. So just becoming aware of that and opening up to new versions of reality. Whereas before you would have thought, I need to do X, Y, and Z to get to this certain space. But when we recognize that time is circular, and that's just how it's being put to me, that means we don't have to necessarily always follow each and every step that we think it takes to get somewhere. We're setting our inner compass to what we know is our desired frequency, and then time bends around it. Time bends around that. So that is the way of movement when we are in the consciousness of that this world is frequency. That's how time operates then. It's not linear. It is spherical. It's circular. And it depends on our inner compass. And time can literally bend around you. Circumstances bend around you. Matter bends around you because you're holding this field of frequency. So I believe that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in to my channel, and I will see you next time with another update.